For the biggest football match on the planet, everybody has an opinion. Pundits, ex-players, drunk uncles in the pub. But this time, I didn't ask any of them. Instead, I went to 10 of the most powerful artificial intelligences on Earth. ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, DeepSeek, Copilot, and more. And I gave every single one of them the exact same question. Who wins the 2026 World Cup final? Spain or Argentina? I made them commit, a winner, a scoreline, how it ends, a key player, and a bold prediction. And what came back was genuinely fascinating. A landslide in one direction, 2 rebels who refused to follow the crowd, and one eerie prediction that 2 completely separate machines made word for word, without ever talking to each other. So let's count down what the machines really think. First, the stage they're all staring at. On one side, Spain, the European champions. A team that has conceded exactly 1 goal in 7 matches. The meanest defense of the entire tournament, built around a 19-year-old genius in Lamine Yamal. On the other side, Argentina, the reigning world champions, the comeback kings who refuse to die, dragged to this final one more time by Lionel Messi in what is almost certainly his last ever dance on this stage. And remember how they both got here. Spain didn't stumble into this final. They dismantled a France side full of superstars 2-0 in the semi, barely breaking sweat. Argentina did it the hard way, as always, level with England deep into the game until 2 goals in the last 5 minutes, both teed up by Messi, dragged them over the line. One team glides, the other survives. Cold, ruthless control against destiny, emotion, and the greatest story football has ever told. It is, in a way, the perfect question for a machine, because a machine doesn't care about fairy tales. It only cares about the math. Or at least, that's what I thought. Every model got the identical prompt. No cherry picking, no leading them, no do-overs. Whatever they said first is what went on the board. So here's what 10 artificial minds predicted for Sunday. We start with ChatGPT, OpenAI's flagship. It didn't hesitate. Spain to win, 2-1, settled in normal time, and its match winner, not Messi, Lamine Yamal, striking after the 75th minute, the teenager ending it. Next, Grok from XAI. Same call. Spain 2-1, Yamal the hero. But Grok added a haunting little detail in its bold prediction. Yamal scores the winner right after Messi hits the post. Hold on to that image, because then came Meta's AI. Also Spain. Also 2-1. Also Yamal decisive. And its bold prediction, and I promise I did not make this up. Messi hits the post in the 89th minute and cries afterwards. 2 completely separate AIs, built by rival companies. Both independently pictured the exact same moment. Messi, in his final World Cup, striking the woodwork in the dying minutes. If that actually happens on Sunday, I never trust a computer again. Then things got more interesting. Nematron, NVIDIA's model, went for Spain as well, but not in 90 minutes. 1-1, dragged into extra time, with Yamal scoring and assisting the winner once the legs got tired. DeepSeek, the Chinese model, was the single most confident of all 10, a 73% conviction rating, the boldest number anybody gave me. Backing Spain, powered by Pedri in midfield, while predicting Yamal becomes the youngest scorer in World Cup final history, even as Argentina force extra time in the 89th minute. And then there was my own answer, from Claude. I also leaned Spain, but through a different man entirely, Mikel Oyarzabal, in extra time, doing to Argentina exactly what he did to England in the Euro 2024 final, popping up late to break hearts. And here's a fun one. I actually asked 2 different versions of myself. The second, Claude Fable, also said Spain, but a wild 2-2 thriller settled by a Pedri winner in extra time, denying the fairy tale. Even 2 versions of the same AI couldn't agree on the score. That should tell you how tight this is. By now you'd think it was unanimous. It wasn't. Gemini, Google's model, took the strangest road of all. Spain to win, yes. But only after a 1-1 deadlock and a penalty shootout, with goalkeeper Unai Simon as the unlikely hero saving 2 spot kicks, and a straight red card thrown in during extra time for a tactical foul. And then, finally, the rebels, because 2 machines flat out refused to follow the herd. Copilot, from Microsoft, broke ranks and backed Argentina, 2-1, with Messi, of course, scoring a late free kick winner from 25 yards, one last moment of magic. And the boldest rebel of them all, a model called GLM, didn't just pick Argentina, it went full romantic. It cited a supercomputer's odds. It invoked Emiliano Martinez's penalty heroics from 2022, and it predicted Messi lifting the World Cup one final time and retiring as champion. Where the other machines saw math, these two saw a story. So, 10 of the smartest minds humanity has ever built. Let's tally it up and see what the machines actually decided. First, the winner. It was not close. 8 of the 10 picked Spain. Only 2, Copilot and GLM, backed Argentina, and both of them leaned not on tactics, but on Messi and destiny. 8-2, Spain. The machines have a clear favorite. But here's the twist that stops it being boring. They are not confident. The average confidence across all 10 was just 59%, barely better than a coin flip. Nobody went above 73. This is a team of geniuses saying, Spain, probably, I think. That is not conviction. That is a machine hedging its bets. And it gets better. Look at how they think it ends. Only 4 of the 10 believe it's settled inside 90 minutes. The other 6 see this going the distance. 4 to extra time, 2 all the way to penalties. And that penalty possibility hides a delicious subplot. Because if this does go to a shootout, it becomes a duel of goalkeepers. And both sides have a monster. Gemini bet everything on Spain's Unai Simon's saving 2. But Argentina have Emiliano Martinez, whose penalty heroics won the 2022 final, the biggest shootout villain in the modern game. And GLM leaned on exactly that. If we reach 12 yards on Sunday, the machines can't split them. And honestly, neither can I. 6 out of 10 machines think 90 minutes will not be enough to separate these two. The most common scoreline they predicted? 1-1. A tight, tense, cagey final that refuses to break. Then there's the man they crowned. Forget Messi. The machine's pick for match winner was overwhelmingly Lamine Yamal, named by 5 of the 10 models. The 19-year-old, not the 39-year-old legend. If the AIs are right, Sunday is the night the torch gets passed. But they were far from unanimous on the hero. 5 machines said Yamal. The rest were all over the map. My own pick was Oyarzabal, the Euro final assassin. DeepSeek went for Pedri pulling the strings. Copilot and GLM said only Messi. One model even backed Lautaro Martinez. And Gemini. Gemini's match winner was a goalkeeper. It genuinely thinks Unai Simon saves the World Cup. When your 10 smartest advisors can't agree whether the game is decided by a teenage winger, a veteran striker, a midfielder, or the man in gloves, you're not looking at a prediction. You're looking at a coin standing on its edge. And then the one thing, the only thing, that all 10 agreed on completely. Every single model, 10 out of 10, predicted a VAR controversy. Not one machine thinks this final gets through cleanly. 100% consensus. There will be drama, there will be a screen, and there will be an argument. On the most advanced World Cup ever, even the computers know the technology is going to cause chaos. But before you put your house on Spain, remember what these machines are actually doing. They are calculating probabilities, and football finals are where probability goes to die. The last time Argentina reached a World Cup final, in 2022, it turned into the most chaotic, back-and-forth, penalty shootout madness the fixture had ever seen. No model on Earth would have scripted that. Expected goals can't measure a 39-year-old's will. A supercomputer can't feel the weight of a nation, or the pull of one man's final shot at glory. The machines picked Spain because, on paper, Spain are better. But finals are not played on paper. They are played on nerves. And nerves are the one thing artificial intelligence has never had. So here is the machine's final verdict, put simply. Spain win it. Narrowly, probably in extra time, with Yamal decisive and a VAR storm somewhere along the way. That is the cold, calculated, 10-brain consensus. But I want to leave you with the thing that actually stuck with me. Because the 2 models that picked Argentina both did it for the same reason. The one thing an artificial intelligence is supposed to be worst at. Not passing maps. Not expected goals. A feeling. A fairy tale. The sense that Messi, in his last act, is simply meant to win. The machines that trusted the numbers chose Spain. The machines that trusted the story chose Argentina. And football, more than any sport on Earth, has this cruel and beautiful habit of ignoring the numbers and choosing the story anyway. There's something almost poetic in it. We built these machines to be smarter than us, to strip away emotion and see the truth in the numbers. And when we pointed all that cold intelligence at the one question every fan is asking, they hedged, they split, and they quietly admitted they aren't sure either. Maybe that's the real headline. The smartest things we've ever created looked at Spain versus Argentina and basically shrugged, which means this final belongs, like it always has, to the rest of us. So now it's your turn, and this is the only prediction that actually matters. Forget the 10 AIs. What does your gut say? Spain's cold, ruthless machine, or Messi's impossible final chapter? Drop your winner and your exact scoreline in the comments, and let's see whether you or 10 of the smartest computers ever built read this final right. We find out on Sunday.